to the K's, stories of progress. A to the K's, stories of progress.
Hello, one and all. Welcome to Stories of Progress. We're your hosts, A to the K, and joining us today is the Progress Atlas champion, the one and only Axel Tischer. Axel, thanks so much for being here, man. How are you?
Hello, I'm doing well. Thank you for the invitation. How about you guys?
Yeah, we're
Oh,
good,
good,
thanks.
thank you. No, thank you very much for joining us. So we'll start if we could. I just wanted to ask you, during your time in WWE, a lot of your friends worked for Progress. So I just wondered what your impressions were of the company, sort of from the outside looking in.
So my impression from the outside looking in were always positive. Progress looks like the promotion you need to be a peer, also that the world will take notice of you, not only the world of professional wrestling in Europe, in the UK,
Yeah.
but also like worldwide. A lot of friends, a lot of former colleagues. For example, Walter, he always cherished the place, and he made his name bigger with competing and becoming not also the Atlas champion, also the Progress World champion. So during my time in WWE around 2018, I think there was a ginormous peak not only of the indie scene in the UK or in Europe, also specifically that time when Progress had a big show in Wembley, right?
Yeah.
In the arena where Ilya Dragunov, also one of my friends, wrestled Pete Dunne, and of course Tyler Bate against Walter, now Gunther. So those are like some shows everybody noticed. Like it was everybody like talked about Progress. So of course it was a goal of mine just to compete at Progress. So yeah,
Yeah.
love
No,
that
absolutely.
company.
Well, I mean, you did make your Progress debut in the Atlas title tournament, obviously at the
Yes.
Dome against Warren Banks. What are your memories of that match and also your opinions of Warren as a competitor?
Uh, Warren was a great competitor. Not only he beat me at that time, but also he was very capable,
Hmm.
very able, very good and tough guy and everything. So it was my debut for Progress, not the original scheduled one that was
Hmm.
in January, but finally I could made it to Progress and the Atlas title tournament. I felt short in the first round, but there's no shame because again, Warren Banks, great competitor, and he was the better man at that time.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah. Obviously, the following day you wrestled Damo for the first time since your release. I just wondered sort of how that was and how much fun was it working with Adam Maxted and Joe Hendry.
It was fun though, like especially it was funny how we got together. Of course,
Mm.
we are a tag team
Hmm.
since forever, but
Yeah,
I think nobody really realized that both we are at the same time at the same building. And then when we kind of like made this promo before the show that we are going together as a team, it felt like kind of like an aha effect from the
yeah.
Packers fans. We were like, yeah, right. 101 is two. Here we go. So, and of course, that match against Max and Joe Hendry was a fun match, but also was the start of our Damo and mine tag team journey.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So you did miss out on Super Strong Style 16 after losing to Maggot in the Fatal Four Way with Jane Simmons and Bobby Guns. How cool was it to be in there with your fellow countrymen in the ballroom?
It was nice. It was also very special because, so to speak, four WXW guys had the chance to perform at Progress on the Progress home turf in front of the Progress fans, but try to show them something different. Try to show them kind of like something different what you would see at the WXW show, but also in the way of like introducing new faces to the ballroom, so to speak. So they were familiar with me because I have been there a couple times now, just wrestling, for example, guys like Luke Jacobs and my introduction at the Atlas title tournament and all that stuff. So I had the chance like just to present myself again, but also made sure that the Progress fans are, just learning some different styles in the way of, like, for example, Jürgen Simmons or Bobby Guns, in that case Maggot, who won that match and just, had the chance to present himself a couple more times in front of the Progress Wrestling fans. So that was a lot of fun. And I remember we still like we still talk about it sometimes,
Oh,
because
nice.
like when we planned the match and we planned here and there some do's and not stuff, it was fun to plan around, but it was also like very rewarding that the fans of Progress liked that match.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
definitely.
they definitely did.
So you mentioned obviously Luke Jacobs there, and you had an Atlas title match against Luke during the Super Strong Style 16 weekend. That was a brilliant match. So I just wondered really, so what was it like wrestling him at such a young age? And did you have a feeling he'd go on to become world champion?
Yes, of course. Yeah, it was nice though. It was a great challenge. It was also for me a challenge how to step up to the younger generation of wrestlers. But in the end,
Yeah.
it was him to step up, because that was for me like one of the times where I just tried to make sure just um, to not hold back, to not
Yeah.
back down from a challenge. And he's young, but he's very talented. But he's very aggressive. He has this cockiness from this younger generation who wants to prove himself against
Yeah.
guys like me or just guys from an older generation. And like for me, it's always the thing. I never back down for anything, and I did not got taught that way. I always got taught that way. If you have to go through a challenge or you have to go through an obstacle, you stand your ground and you stick to your guns and you do what you're gonna do. And he was one of the guys. He was a tough challenge, and still to this day, he's always one of the toughest guys you can see perform, especially at Progress. But
Yeah.
he puts his money where his mouth is, even if it's a lot. He talks, and he's sometimes can be a wanker, but and a lot of times he backs up what he's saying. And in that case, it also was the thing where we had a hell of a fight, and we it went up and down for me, but in the end, like, he won the match, so kudos to that. But yeah, it
Yeah.
was a hard-hitting match for sure, and I think it
Oh,
was
it's a
a
hell of a match.
well performed Atlas title match, and also it fits to the Strong Style weekend. So
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
no, definitely. You can see why the fans loved it so much. In the following chapter, though, you entered the Thunderbastard. What was your experience like wrestling in that kind of a crazy match?
super chaotic. Never wrestled in a match like that, and
Mm.
it was yeah, as I said, super chaotic. It's always nice to have something new and just to get my hands on something I haven't done before, and that was something else. Like, I was an experience I hopefully will never make again, because it's not only hard like just to fight in a rumble, but it's also like this challenge of just staying in that and just winning it. And it's always like more and more people coming in and more talented people coming in, of course, because
Yeah.
it's filled with a lot of that match was filled with a lot of guys. That's the only Thunderbastard I went or just performed in. But yeah, again, it was something else. So
Yeah.
made the experience, hopefully never again.
That's certainly an experience, as you say. Now, obviously, you had your first and only Progress World Championship match in Dubai against Spike Trivet. I just wondered what your memories were of that match, and sort of how much of a goal is it for you to become Progress Men's World Champion in the future?
Um, it's definitely a goal, because I think if you do not want to be the number one on the promotion you're working with, you should not be there.
Yeah.
But also, just to take us back to that moment, it was a nice opportunity. Not only that, um, a very nice excursion by Progress, going to the wonderful city of Dubai, and I've been
Yeah.
there now a couple times, and I really love that city. It's very nice. And also I had like the chance to prove myself towards the current champion, but I fell short. He got, you know, he got the better of me in that part. Like, even if I died on my own sword, so to speak, but Spike Troy won. I didn't. So there's something left and something left to do. And of course, it's becoming the world progress or world champion of progress. But in that case, I fell short. But now my goals are more set on just making that the Atlas title more prestigious than eventually the world title, because as a Atlas champion, I have the duty of just defending that title, but also the duty of just making that title as credible as possible. So I don't think about something I don't have. I'm more focused on what I have right now and in defending it, and just making that the number one belt of progress.
Yeah, that's definitely the right way to look at it.
Yeah, 100% true champion.
So after your match with Spike, though, you did suffer a couple of the defeats in progress after that match. Did the loss to Trivet kind of affect your confidence a bit, do you think?
Yeah, for sure. Like if you lose an important match like that, there's always a struggle, because you're always close to win in about 3 seconds, and I was maybe 1 second away from becoming the new Progress World Champion. And sometimes a defeat can eat you alive, and sometimes you struggle with that. But I think the art in professional wrestling is just to not keep your head down. It's just straight yourself up and just keep going and grinding. And if you have to start from zero, so it will be from zero, and then you still march forward, and then you got another defeat. But if you take that again, that loss, and you take it too much deep into your personal issues and personal life, you will never ever get again on a winning streak. So of course it's hard to lose, and nobody wants to lose. But when you know how to lose, and when you know how to deal with the loss, then you do not struggle as much as you would kind of like keep it too much to your heart. So you have to keep going forward. You have to believe in yourself, and you have to, of course, train harder, prepare yourself for the next fight. And after losing again, you have to even work harder and harder and harder until there's always an end to everything. And of course, always an end to a losing streak as well. So in that case, you sharp your minds and you sharp your tools again. You go back to schoolwork, your drawing board, so to speak, and then you keep on going until you're fighting and being victorious again.
Yeah, love that. Good way to look at it.
That's it. Yeah. Well, speaking of keeping on going and marching on, obviously you did return back to your winning ways with a dominant performance against Charles Crowley. I just wondered, what was it about Crowley that made your approach to that match, with such intensity?
First of all, I lost too many times that I, tried to play and win. I was determined just to beat the next guy, for sure. So, and Crowley is a weird one, because obviously he's not the same wrestler as I am, but he's very cheeky, and he knows how to play his cards well. He's one of a kind. He's definitely a funny guy if you want to watch him, but also he uses a lot of tricks, like just to manipulate the opponent. If it's just his goofiness, or is it like, I don't know, some card tricks he pulls out of his pants. I had to kind of like be as aggressive as possible. I had to be prepared as possible, because again, like, you can expect everything from him, from a good wrestling performance until like a funny comedy spot where he makes you laugh, or just makes people laugh about you. And for me, in my mind, it wasn't one of the days I would lose again, and especially not against a guy like him, because I thought with every bits and pieces he will bring to the table, I'll bring my axe and smash the table and smash the dude as well. So, and yeah,
and well and truly did as well.
Absolutely. After your victory over Crowley, obviously Sanity really began to find their stride in progress. Did it just feel like it was the right time to go after the tag division together after Damo obviously lost the world title?
I think it was the right time just to find my sanity back. Yes, sir. Um, it was the right time and the right place, and it was that Eric was in the UK, and of course, Progress was aware of it. So, 1+1 is 2. In that case, 1+1+1 is 3, and like the band was almost back together. So we got Damo, we got Eric Young, we got myself together, reformed, and with a new entrance theme by a good buddy of mine. So we put pen to paper and we put plans together and we fought together and we were successful together. And I think that was a good re-debut of the group, and it was a great debut for Progress Wrestling.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
100%.
So after that, obviously, you went on to win a triple threat match at unboxing against True and Lacey and Sunshine Machine. What's an unboxing card actually like from a wrestler's perspective? Obviously, not knowing beforehand.
It's fun. I like chaos. I like unpredictability. I like that, sometimes you need that certain surprise to get an extra kick, or like, yeah. And in that case, that match was fun. It's out of my taste from what I like in wrestling, because obviously Sancho Machine, one of the greatest in professional wrestling, even if I right now do not like these guys, but I have to admit, like, they are one of the pillars of tag team wrestling, not only in British wrestling, but of course also in Progress. But also with, like, in general, that team dynamic of the other guys were right opposite from the one Damo and I just preferred just to go. So it was a nice size clash, and also
Yeah.
was fun, and we won, so that made me even more happy. But it was one of the things we could implement our dominance in the tag team division in Progress. So it was a very important match for us, even if it was unpredictable who we will face. But in the end, it doesn't matter. Like, an opponent is an opponent, a challenge is a challenge, and we always cherish a good challenge, especially when it's a little bit more chaotic.
Absolutely.
So you had your first Progress tag title match against Smoking Aces at Chapter 163. But obviously took the loss due to them using the ropes. So I just sort of want to get your thoughts on that and what you think of them as champions.
If the Smoking Aces were not smoking assholes, they would be one of the greatest tag teams ever. They could be so much more than just what they think they are or what they present they are. But in that case, of course, best in the ropes. So if you win a match like this, you maybe should not be considered one of the greatest. So I think they don't need that, but apparently they want to go this way. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Up
you
to
were at
them.
ringside. You were at ringside when Kid Lykos won the title in the cage match. Did it feel good to get some revenge on the Aces for obviously what they'd done earlier in the night?
That was something good, not only for the good sake of Progress Wrestling, just to get the power away from Spike Trivet and their faction, but also just to get a little bit payoff on the Smoking Aces. But it was not enough. It was not really a payoff for us. It was more just doing what's right for Progress. But in the end, it played out better for us because we got their numbers in a street fight. Not really. We got screwed there as well. What's going on here? What's going on? Got screwed by Aces, got screwed again by the Aces, got screwed by Sancho Machine. Yeah.
Yeah.
But obviously in Philadelphia, you did finally become the Progress Tag Champions with Damo. But there's been a triple threat against Cheeky Little Buggers and Sunshine Machine. I just wondered if you could sort of tell us about that day and during the WrestleMania weekend.
Didn't got screwed there. So we were actually successful when we were able to do what we're gonna do. Just beating people down and just in that case winning the tag team straps. It was nice. It was for me the first time after WWE going back to the States, and it was for us also representing a Progress performance in Philly in front of the fans of the world, basically, because not only American fans or North American fans, whatever, like a lot of European fans as well, like a lot of German fans were at the show as well. So it was nice, like just to represent Progress and just represent the tag team division, even if the match was a little bit out of the hand, because it's the more people in, the more chaotic is it. And as I said before, I like the chaos, but there are too many rules just to follow, because you have to eventually follow rules to win a match. And a triple threat tag team match, to follow the rules right there and just to not just want to go in and just beat people up, it's so tempting, but you cannot do it. You have to follow rules to win the match. So luckily we won the match because we were the better team in that night. But it felt great, and in the end we got the job done, and just rightfully so, we became first time tag team champions. So.
Yeah, goes to show what can happen when you're not getting screwed over every time.
Exactly.
You touched on going back to America. Obviously, you've defended the tag titles around the world, including Defy, and obviously Black Label Pro. Like, how important has it been for you to defend them kind of globally in these promotions?
I think it's very important, because the people need to know what Progress Wrestling is all about. And in that case, we were the Progress Tag Team Champions. So we were representatives of Progress Wrestling. And when we go through America, and we said it before, we want to make everybody be aware of Progress, and we want to defend the title worldwide. We made it to the American scene. We went to Defy Seattle, we went to Black Label Pro in Chicago, and we did what we said before: we will defend the title, and we successfully did it. It was nice to showcase a little bit, not only us, but also what the European wrestling scene is all about. And then also just, waving the flag for the company who puts the trust in us. So in that case, it was a very lovely representation of not only us, but also Progress.
Awesome. All right. So obviously, in terms of memories of your tag title reign, do you have a particular favorite match?
Let me think about it.
There's a few to choose from.
Yeah.
I think that's a hard question, because right now I have to think about like the matches. I do remember we had not so many matches, and I would say like the Lykos gym match was fun, because I never wrestled against those two guys, but like unfortunately Kid Lykos got injured, so it was rather
bittersweet.
Bittersweet victory. I mean, like, the street fight was fun before we got screwed over, so it was nice to bring out a little bit some violence. Hard to say.
Too many good ones.
Yeah, exactly.
During your tag title reign, though, you obviously, made history, becoming double champion by defeating Yoshiki Inamura for the Atlas title. What did that achievement mean to you, and what are your thoughts on Inamura?
Thoughts on Inamura? Awesome guy. What a warrior. I have met him a couple times, not only in the UK, also in Germany, and he was loved by everyone, not only inside the locker room, but also by the attendants. So everybody loved him, because he was this true fighter. Like, he always brought everything to the match, and he pours heart out to the fans. So fair play to him, and I'm very happy for his current success, that he's over there in Florida and just kicking some ass there. For me personally, it was one of the opportunities, the same I had in Dubai, which I failed, and for that one was specifically now just with, let's say, a little bit more character-driven force, with just being me as insane as possible, just bringing the fight to him, and
Yeah.
in the end being successful. That meant the world to me. Not only that I'm the first ever German Atlas title champion, not only the first ever German tag team title champion, but also like the two-time um, champion in progress. And
Yeah.
like some people told me it's the first ever or something. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. That's not
think
the
it might
point.
be.
The point is that
Yeah.
I achieved for my personal career milestone, that I achieved something. I worked hard for it, and that I have beaten somebody who was a worthy champion and a true challenge for me. So I had to overcome like a big roadblock and just conquer them with, you know, just being the better man in that evening, but also just had to overcome also um, a lot of struggles with having a juggernaut in front of you. So
Yeah.
in that case, again, I'm proud of that victory, and like I'm proud to still be Atlas champion. So if I can be half of that caliber as a champion like Yoshi was, so then I'm happy.
All right. So, and
Love it.
as you say, a hell of a match. And many consider your match against Mike D at Chapter 169 to be your best in progress. So I just wondered, could you feel the chemistry between you right away? And obviously at that time, what was the sort of atmosphere like in the ballroom for that match?
The atmosphere was insane because
Yeah.
a lot of people have seen Mike D before, and he's a machine, a war
Yeah.
machine, right? So he's all what he says he is, and um, I know him from the German wrestling scene before, and I know what he's capable of. And every time I wrestle this guy, he make me step up my game. And because I'm very compatible, he will not take me, he will not take anything away from me. I have
Yeah.
to step up, and I will. And every time when we meet in the ring and he makes me step up my game even more, I will, because he will not get the better of me. And I know a lot of people were excited, and I know this big guy can do everything. And I thought to myself, like, there is another proving ground, but this
Yeah.
time me as the champion and he as the challenger. So yeah, I was up for everything, and he brought everything, and in the end, I won because I also brought everything, but this time I had a little bit more than he did. So
Yeah.
So you fell short.
Unfortunately, we've got to talk about Chapter 171. Obviously, you touched before on your dislike for Sunshine Machine, but do you think you'd still be double champs now if it hadn't been for Chuck Mambo?
yes.
Yeah.
So after that loss, you faced Naomichi Marufuji in singles competition at the joint Defy Noah and Progress show in Germany.
Correct.
Was that a special moment for you?
That was a very special moment. Marufuji is one of the guys I watched growing up as a wrestler when I started my first years in professional wrestling, and um, the glory days of professional wrestling Noah,
Yeah.
mid 2000s, with all like the guys like Kenta and so Marufuji was one of the guys you idolized, or you as the wrestling scene in general idolized. Like there's a move, like a movement named by him,
Yeah.
and he was the inventor of so many like moves you see in the wrestling match by so many athletes nowadays. So that was definitely like for me a dream come true. A dream I never dared to dream, but
Yeah.
in that case it was like out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It came first with the Pro Wrestling Noah tour in the UK,
Yeah.
where we had a tag team match against each other, and then they put the announcement down. So I was super hyped, and especially I was hyped because it was my home country
Yeah.
in Oberhausen at the weekend where WXW also had like shows scheduled. So that's my home promotion in Germany, and my home promotion Progress came to Germany, and we had this banger of a match, but unfortunately the finish was not in my favor, but it was odd, so I think there's still business to settle.
I love that.
Yeah.
So you went on to face Big Damo in an Iron Sharpens Iron Atlas title defense at Unboxing. What were your thoughts on that match? Obviously, the crowd clearly loved it.
Yeah, they loved it because they love us. But
Yeah.
in that case, I think he brought this on himself because it wasn't my idea. I just needed to get some steam off after we lost the tag team belts, and he promised me he will find me a big guy, and then he find himself in the ring next to me, and he said, "It's fucking me." So I was like, "Yeah, cool, challenge accepted." Yeah, iron sharps iron, and um, the better or the more you like them, the harder you will hit them. And in that case, we had fun with each other, but again, I could showcase myself what I'm capable of doing, even like to the big guys, as
Yeah.
a rightful and good Atlas champion will do, because it's about the big boys, right? So in that case, it was a friendly competition. Yeah, we battered each other. Yeah, we slammed each other and we, hurt each other. But in the end, we're still friends. We're still teaming, and we still focus on becoming again tag team champions. So
Yeah, definitely blew off some steam.
The definition of iron sharpens iron. Really.
Indeed.
So obviously you came out second best against Sunshine Machine, and you gave them the middle finger when they offered to bury the hatchet. So just on the back of that, really, I just wondered what we can expect from Sanity moving forward.
just, I think we're done playing around.
Oh.
It's fun to be in the ballroom, and it's not that we dislike the fans there, not at all. We just dislike Central Machine because how dare they ruin like our title defense against the Aces in a street fight,
Yeah, of course.
So there's no burying the hatchet with the
successful
Axeman.
in making it that we lose the title. F them, seriously. And then just being bitches around, just that we kind of like give them a little receipt or just distracting them from their match, and now just making it like to challenge us, like whatever. It's like, no, we challenge them, not they. We want to bury the hatchet. F that. We don't want to bury the hatchet. We want to have payback, and then in the end, just scoring a victory with a shitty roll up. Come on, man. And then just having the audacity just to offer up a handshake in the way of like, yeah, we cost you guys the title and now we beat you with a shitty little roll up. Hey, let's do a handshake. No, that's not over. Not for sure. And like, but that showed us one thing. And I think when you lose something, especially if you lose a match, if you're a true professional, you learn from a mistake and you learn from something what maybe will be your weaknesses, and then you become smarter or more advanced or whatever you say, but or whatever you call it. But in that case, we figured out we need to change something. We need to change maybe a little bit, just taking the fun away a little bit and just becoming more vicious and violent and just be more focused on the opponent next to us or even in front of us or surrounding us. I think it's right now that time that Big Damo and myself are more like, thinking about just only trusting us instead of others. Because before that, we thought Sancho Machine, great guys, and fun to be around with, and hey, we respect them. But apparently, we lost our titles because of our trust to somebody like Mambo. So in that case, that will change now, and I think you can expect something different coming forward from Sanity, from Big Damo and myself, because we are done just, that people think we're idiots. We're done with just being the fun act and just, good old time reminding, blah, 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 whatever, whatever. I think right now we have to step up to the plate and just taking what's ours.
Yeah,
I couldn't agree
absolutely.
more. Right,
So-
rightly given them a middle finger, I say.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Clearly been business. So obviously you've been Atlas champion for almost a year now. Obviously while also handling the business with Sanity. Are you looking to defend the Atlas title in Vegas? And if so, have you got anyone in mind who you want to face next?
I'm looking to defend this Atlas title as best as possible in my mind on every show, because I think the Atlas title belongs not only to me but also to the fans of Progress. So
Yeah.
their Atlas title champion should be on every show and should defend it everywhere possible. But apparently it's not possible because not every guy is qualified to challenge me. So I understand this. But Progress is going again to the United States of America, and I will be there as well as the Atlas title, Atlas champion. Sorry.
Yeah.
So the Atlas title is on the line, and whoever steps forward, maybe it's Mike D again. I don't know. Maybe it's Big Damo again. Maybe it's somebody else. Who knows? America's full of like heavy dudes. I don't. You tell me, right? But I tell you, I don't care. As long as I get somebody in front of me who challenged me for that title, where I can showcase again why I am the Atlas title champion, I'm happy.
Love that. Bring them on, whoever it is.
It's a must see. Who are we going to get?
Indeed. Axel, before we ring the bell on this interview, it's time for a recurring segment that we call Quick Progression. So it's a lightning round with fast answers and no hesitations. Are you ready?
I guess, yes.
Okay, favorite Progress opponent?
Oof. Luke Jacobs.
Dream Progress opponents?
Cara Noah.
If you could recommend one show on Demand Progress Plus, what would it be?
The last unboxing.
Okay.
Excellent. If you could recommend just one match on Demand Progress Plus, what would that be?
I would say me against Mike D.
Nice.
Great choice. And lastly, a question which should not be part of any quickfire round ever. Can you give us your Progress Wrestling Mount Rushmore?
Progress Wrestling Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
That's a good question. Like, I have to be very biased, or not really biased. Like the current, it's always like because of the pandemic, it feels like it's like two chapters, two different ones. And I was part on the after COVID and not the pre COVID. So I think for the current one, that's hard though, because like now I'm thinking Big Damo for sure, because he was at the same time Atlas title and world champion, Progress world champion, so he needs to be up there. I think Cara Noah as well.
Yeah.
Because he's one of the OGs, like he was before there and he afterwards, and he's such a unique talent and such a great performer. I have to say Spike Trivet after Progress, after Progress, after Corona, because he was such a bastard and such a mean guy, but like he really just like hold the belt as long as possible, and even possible it was. And then I would say Kid Lykos, because he dethroned him like in that cage match, and he pours out to the fans just to save Progress from this vulture, right? So, but before Corona, I think if you, of course, you have to take Walter because he was such a dominant force in there. I would also say, probably like you say Mount Rushmore. I would say Mustache Mountain, something like as an extra, like something on it, because like Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne, of course, and who else was there as well? Ooh.
One more spot left.
One more spot. It's so hard. Like I'm biased again. Ilya Dragunov.
Yeah.
Fair.
No, great picks. And I love the fact you give us it from both eras as well. But Axel, thank you so much for taking the time. Can't wait to see what's next
Thank
for
you.
you and the Atlas Championship.
Yeah, I'm super happy. Again, I love progress. I'm very happy with just being a part of that organization. I'm looking forward for the States. To the audience, I'm sorry for my bad English because I'm quite knackered right now, so I try to do my best next time. But I hope I see you guys in the States, and if not, I see you next time at the Progress Show in the UK Electric Ballroom. So thank you very much for having me.